Okay, right. Hi, everybody. You're very, very welcome. My name's Anne Duff. I'm one of the careers managers here at the University of Glasgow. And you'll see me popping up on all of the events today as part of Graduate Advice Week, hosting our wonderful contributors who have come in to talk to you, the students. So I want to introduce you to Elliot, and Elliot is here today to talk about the Skills Bootcamp that they run through a project called ProjectSet. Now, I saw this coming through to me on an email and I thought, wow, that looks amazing. And then second of all, wow, I must advertise this to our students. And then third of all, I thought, actually, can I just get Elliot to come and tell the students about what it's all about? And what I really liked about it, Elliot, when I saw it pinging into my inbox, was that it's that really, really nice mix of career coaching, but not in a vacuum of just, oh, here's some things that you can do, but it's actually linking you up to experiences and work experience and opportunities and people and conversations and other students or graduates that are in the same position as you are. So I just thought the whole thing looked really, really, really good. And that's why I wanted to invite you in to talk to our students. So can I just hand over to you and let you tell the students all about ProjectSet? And thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
It's all right. No worries at all. No worries at all. Thank you for having me. So I will share my screen. Let me know if you can see it all right, and then we shall get cracking. So I can see that there's a couple of you here. So I've kind of made this session a bit interactive. I feel like maybe some of your hearts kind of dropped at that thought there. The reason why, just being that the Skills Bootcamp I'm going to be talking about is quite an interactive program, so I thought it might as well kind of do what we're going to see on the tin sort of thing. So I guess, and I know some of you as well are going to be popping away to kind of get a cup of tea. It's something I tend to do is as soon as I pop on the webinar, I kind of head off to go and get some food. So the first question is the easiest I could possibly make it. What is your most frequently used emoji? So if you're on your phone, that's probably a bit easier to do, but if you want to, if you're on a laptop or something like that, feel free to kind of pop in your emoji there. But I thought if we kind of kick it off with something just to see if you guys are here. If you don't want to interact, that is totally fine. I'm not expecting you to. You guys aren't being paid to be here, so you're just kind of here in your free time. There you go. I think that's positive emojis so far. Okay, I like that. All right, that's nice. In fact, I should probably put mine in as well. I don't know. I feel like mine's usually a bit of a, oh, apparently that's quite a boring one for me, I'm afraid. All right, good stuff. You're not obviously gonna have to talk at any point. I thought chat's just the easiest way and less kind of anxious way of kind of interacting. Right, the second one, there's only 3 questions, so we'll kind of go through it. Rohan, that's quite a sad one. If you want as well, I can see some of your, it looks like maybe I'm talking to myself at some points. If you, where it says 2 and then it says either everyone, it might say hosts and panelists, so it might just be coming to me. So if you want to chat to others, feel free to change that. Right, second question, slightly more difficult. Use an emoji to describe your student experience during the pandemic. I'm going to do that as well. Let me see. Like the crying one's pretty appropriate. Abby's not holding back. She's just gone for all of them. There you go. All right. That's not okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Right. And then the last one, just have to choose between 2 emojis here. So give me a thumbs up if you know exactly what you want to do once you graduate, and a thumbs down if you have no clue. So I guess when I was in your kind of position not long ago, I was a thumbs down, to be fair. But I mean, I'll talk about it a bit more. I went to art school, so that's, you can see why that was a bit more of a thumbs down. There you go. Nice one. Rohan's got it sorted, apparently, unlike some others. Roughly. That's good. It's a good start. Alrighty. Well, thank you for that. So far, right, I'll crack on. There'll be a couple of questions and whatnot, but again, if you need to hop off and get some food and stuff, because this is usually when I start to feel hungry, feel free to do so. But I'm going to take you through a little story. Essentially, it's me, so not that I'm egotistical or anything, but June 2020, I was kind of in your shoes. I graduated during the pandemic, so that was obviously a bit of a whirlwind. So I went to the Glasgow School of Art. I'm not far away from you guys right now, so I studied in Glasgow. I went to the City Glasgow College as well, but I'm currently living in Ayr, so sunny air a bit further outside of Glasgow. So straight away, I was kind of excited. I just got my degree. I thought, brilliant, I can get right into the industry now. I did kind of art, but with a bit of tech in there. So I thought at least I had a fighting chance, unlike some traditional art jobs, we'll say. But then 6 months later, I still wasn't hired. I'd applied to many jobs. I still kept getting put back. You can imagine during the pandemic, there weren't that many jobs. If there were some, very high kind of competition to try and get them. So at that point, I was just sort of looking for any job. Council tax kind of comes out of nowhere, so I had to pay it somehow, right? It's my old SaaS kind of money wasn't going to cover that. So that's where for me ProjectSet came in. So I actually came to ProjectSet as a student myself. They were running a competition and I took part in it, and that's kind of how my journey began. So kind of if you're new to ProjectSet, in a nutshell, it's essentially a lot of virtual opportunities for yourself that are free. So in a bit more detail, it's a project management space, but we facilitate a lot of projects such as internships, course-based projects, boot camps, hackathons, events, programs, all that kind of stuff. If you see me looking this way, by the way, that's because I have a second monitor. I'm not ignoring you. And so yeah, the main kind of point for ProjectSet is to kind of virtually bring students, and we say recent graduates as well. So if you're 2 years afterwards, which will be me, but yeah, students, employers, and educators together, but mainly to build your skills and showcase them. So once you've got them, how can you show them off? And so from Skills Bootcamp, we run quite a few events, but today, obviously from the title of the webinar, we're going to be talking about Skills Bootcamp. So this is essentially a 6-week online program that we run throughout the summer, and it's to help you guys who are maybe not able to find work experience, or maybe just looking to upskill yourself, or looking just to fill the summer if you're quite productive, just to kind of help develop your employability skills, your portfolio, connect with other students, not just within Glasgow Uni, but universities across the UK, and hopefully kickstart your careers. That's kind of what we're going for. And it's an initiative developed by new graduates for new graduates. So it's myself and my colleague Nkita. So we actually went to the same university, we're in the same year. We've ended up working at the same company, so it's quite nice. So I think last year we thought, when we graduated, what could we do? What would we have wanted before we started our career? Because we just felt a bit lost, especially during COVID, as you can imagine. But even when it's not COVID, it's a bit daunting kind of finishing and not knowing where you go next. So we thought, as we were looking through job descriptions, we saw a lot of them were asking for soft skills, transferable skills. And I guess in your CV, you kind of usually write a list like, yeah, I can do teamwork. Yeah, I can do this and that. And that's about it. I guess the employer just sort of has to believe that you can do it. So we thought, how can we create something that evidences this? So when you go on your CV or your LinkedIn or even in interviews, you can pop it in. Let me see, just a quick point, Anne, you've popped that just to us. So if you could pop that message to the other folk as well, that'd be awesome. Rightio, what are we covering this summer? So we have 6 weeks. I think last year, we ran it for the first time. We had a few more weeks, but this year we've kind of concentrated it down a bit. And so we've got personal branding, foundational skills, analytical and critical thinking, prototyping, design thinking, and presentation. Some of them you guys might know, some of them might be new to you or you're not interested in. But I'm just going to quickly take you through. It's got a couple of dates there as well. So if you want to take a screenshot of this screen, go for it, just so you can see if you're free that week or not. So personal branding, we're going to kind of jump straight in, kind of work on your CV, your LinkedIn. Basically, how do you brand yourself? So you kind of got all this experience, you've got university, but you've got your external stuff as well. So how do you kind of package it together on a page or 2 pages and show it off efficiently to employers? So that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on. The idea is that once you kind of start this, hopefully at the end, you'll be able to add these bits and bobs in to evidence all these kind of other skills you've been working on. Week 2, so foundational skills, mainly we're calling this, it's foundational skills, but it's mainly teamwork. So no matter what industry you're in or what job you're doing, there'll be some sort of element of teamwork or collaborating with others. Even if you're a freelancer, you're going to have your clients, so you're going to need to know how to work with them efficiently to kind of get what they want. So that's what we're going to be doing there. Some of you probably kind of switched off there at teamwork. That is fine. It's daunting for me as well, but we try and facilitate what we're going to call like a safe space, because everyone's usually just as equally awkward and anxious about getting into teams. So we kind of run some of our sessions through Zoom. So the idea is that we just sort of chuck you in the deep end, we'll throw you into some breakout rooms. We might give you an icebreaker so you can kind of get to know one another, sorry. And the idea is that throughout the weeks, it's quite nice because people tend to come back and then people start to kind of get to know one another through these weeks. And, during towards some of the end weeks work together as well. Week 3, analytical critical thinking. Again, it's just going to be lots of exercises here so you can demonstrate that, because again, it's easy to say you have it, and you know how are you going to show that off. Prototyping. This is usually quite oriented around design or artists. We're trying to show that it's maybe not just designers and artists that need to know it. You could be, I don't know, in history or something, kind of posing a new methodology of learning for students, or you could be in doing IT or something to do with like data visualization. Like there's lots of different applications for it. We're going to walk you through a very, very easy way of prototyping. It's free. You have access to this solution already. And it's just so you can get ideas. It's usually in your head and put them out on a screen so that people know exactly what you're talking about. So that one's actually been quite popular, and it's probably my favorite one, to be honest. Number 5, design thinking. So just being able to see how other departments work as well, but it also allows you to become more critically and analytical about products that you see, be able to break things down, understand user journeys, that sort of thing. So again, I will add quickly as well, you don't have to do all of these 6 weeks. You can choose whichever ones you want, and I'll tell you how to do that in a hot second. And last but not least, presentation skills, probably the ones that people are most uncomfortable with, but that's why we do it. So again, everyone's kind of in the same boat of being a bit awkward about presentations. What we try and do is, get you to work on some slides throughout the week. And at the end, we have some presentation sessions, and we invite some external panelists that kind of come together and give you some feedback. So that's how it's kind of working so far. Let me have a look here. So how, I guess, is each week structured? So we've kind of got the 3 M's here. So we've got masterclasses, micro projects, and mentor sessions. So the first masterclass usually is on a Monday. So each week is Monday to Friday. You've got your weekend off, and you've got Monday to Friday again. So the Monday is usually the masterclass, unless it's a bank holiday or something. We're not going to make you work on bank holidays. And we get somebody to kind of introduce into the skill. So it'll either be someone from the ProjectSet team or an external organization. And they'll give you an hour to an hour and a half kind of rundown of what the skill is, why it's important in the workplace, and how you're going to be learning it this week. And then the second point, so the micro projects, so essentially what you're going to be doing throughout this week. So we'll introduce that. We'll have a brief, we'll have some activities, we'll get you into your teams. And then the third point there, mentor sessions. So what we find quite useful is, because we invite industry professionals and external organizations and companies into these sessions each week, then it allows you to kind of pick the brain and get some industry experience. So I kind of go into a bit more detail about why these are important in a sec. I'm basically going to do a very quick week. I'm going to cram a week into like what will be like half an hour or less, so you can see exactly how it's run. And how are you going to be working together on this? We have our own ProjectSet platform here. It's free. You guys are going to be using it. This is just where we'll sort you into your teams. You can add tasks, have video calls, that kind of thing if you want. And this is where you'll be uploading your work. It's simple as that. And then Zoom as well. So you're not going to need anything that's heavy. And you're all here anyway. So I'm presuming, I should hope you know how to use Zoom if you've made it this far. Otherwise, I'm concerned. And then what will you guys gain from this? So essentially, a digital portfolio. The idea is at the end of every week, you'll have a new piece of work to add to your portfolio. Again, portfolio isn't currently, it's synonymous with designers and artists, but it doesn't have to be. No matter what industry you're in, you're always doing works, especially your dissertation. That takes far too long just to hand it in once and be over with. So you have work you've been working on, things that you've researched, and that's evidenced there a bit quicker, as opposed to showing the whole piece of work is certificates. So we'll give you a certificate at the end of each week, and if you take part in all 6 weeks as well, we'll give you a different fancy type of certificate. And growing network, like I say, you get to meet more people in your university and other universities as well, so that's quite nice. We kind of promote you guys linking on LinkedIn, other social media, just so you can kind of carry on these professional connections after after your week that you've been working on. So as you can see here, I've got a mock week. So essentially I'm going to just quickly walk you through Monday to Friday and what that will look like, just so that if you guys are interested in joining, you kind of know what's expected of you, really. So we're not going to give you any surprises here or there. So the first day, let me see here. We've got a little activity. So the first day is the masterclass. So this week, we've just kind of thought something for this presentation here. So what exactly does the masterclass look like? So it's essentially, like I was saying before, an hour or an hour and a half where you're taught what is the skill that you can be working on, why it's important in industry. Like I say, if we've got an external organization that's involved in that week, they might do a talk themselves. But being able to kind of understand why you need to know the skill and where it's applicable and how you'll use it. And especially understanding how to talk about it is actually quite good for interviews as well. So the activity we've got today is, who would you be on a pirate ship? So it sounds random. There's a reason for it. So what we're basically doing is it's important to know who you are in a team. So I guess you require like a harmony of team members to come together to be able to kind of fulfill a task. So for example, you can't have 5 captains. That wouldn't work very well. There's a lot of butting heads, a lot of kind of leadership problems. But equally on the other side, if there isn't a captain, you maybe, would encourage someone to step up, because you need someone to kind of have that overview of the team, where they're going, to foster that relationship between the team members to move forward. So I'll quickly kind of go through these 5 roles that we've written out here, and you can see maybe how they relate to the real world, because it's kind of like a fantasy part. But have a think. You can pop it in the chat if you want, who you think you are. And what I will say as well, if you say, for example, you're a carpenter or something, that doesn't mean you're locked into that role forever. Obviously, the idea is like throughout your career, and even now as a student, you'll progress. So I don't think you're locked in. It's just to kind of have a look to see where you maybe fit in each one. So for the captain, they're trusted and respected by the crew as the leader, and they're good at making key decisions when it's crucial, and keeping a cool head and control during intense situations. So does anyone think that if they happen to be, for some reason, on a pirate ship, that they would be a captain? I think normally that's a role I would shy away from personally. But I think usually if then no one else would kind of step up to the captain role, I would sort of reluctantly take the role. What I'll do, I'll read through the other ones and see if anyone else kind of aligns with them. But we have the navigator as well. I should say, sorry, yeah, quickly, if the team captain kind of resonates with you, usually that means you're the team leader. You kind of take higher positions in a company, like the hierarchy of roles. But the navigator, so they kind of the brains of the pirate crew. They help guide the crew based on their knowledge and research, and the crew can rely on the navigator for direction and safety. So for example, there I've put business developer, but there's a whole roles that could touch upon as well. Researcher, but you kind of know the playing field, so you know sort of what the industry is in. If you're in, data analytics, you know the competitors. That's a good point, Anne. Yeah, you maybe in different projects you take on different roles, especially that's a good point. If you're in different industries, maybe you're the navigator in a certain industry, but in other ones you might be a new industry to you altogether. So we also have the quartermaster, so manages supplies and crews at the pirate vessel, a keen problem solver who keeps things running smoothly, and the right hand person to the captain. So again, we've kind of put project manager here, so the person who maybe has an oversight of the little projects that are going on within let's say the pirate ship here, for example. And why that's useful for the team, why that hierarchy kind of works. You've got someone at the top, and then someone who kind of oversees the more day-to-day interactions and the day-to-day kind of projects that are going on with the company. We have the carpenter as well, so resourceful and good at fixing issues that arise, quick thinking and problem-solving capabilities, and making the key decisions regarding the maintenance and performance of the ship. So again, we kind of put a product lead. So if there's a product at this organization or a service, or even if it's like online software, the person who's kind of responsible for that. So that's kind of the boat that I fall under. I'm kind of responsible for like the ProjectSet platform as the product manager. So that's on this pirate ship, I would be the carpenter. And the last one, but not least, it sounds quite random. Powder monkey, I had to look because I thought it was a random word to use. Apparently a powder monkey was usually a younger individual on the ship, and their main role was to kind of carry gunpowder from the gunpowder magazine to the weapons during battle. So that's why it's called that. I've not plucked that out of nowhere. But as a translation to how that would be in the real world, so a team player who takes on many of the smaller tasks to ensure the smooth operations of the pirate ship or company, and then brave to do tasks that other crew members won't. So I've put customer facing roles, essentially anyone who's kind of customer facing. They're the ones that sort of doing the day-to-day interactions, all the kind of tasks, usually day-to-day operations, the ones that are a bit more intensive, but they're the ones on the floor kind of doing all the hard work. So that's, I guess, a very introduction to a masterclass. Does anyone, after I've kind of gone through that, feel that they maybe know their position now on a pirate ship? Again, I'm not sure why, I'm suggesting that we could be on a pirate ship if we're just studying in Glasgow, but there could be a time and a place where it happened. Carpenter, that's fair enough. It'll be interesting. Usually what we do at the beginning of sessions is ask where they're studying just because they're at different university, or ask, what they're studying, because it's really interesting seeing like business developers and designers and archaeologists kind of come together to work on this project, because they all have skills. Because in a normal world they would maybe never meet. Having them come together in these teams is interesting to see what transferable skills kind of comes out. but not entirely sure like navigator or quartermaster. Very true. You could have little bits and bobs of each. And I suppose like Anne was saying, in some projects you might be better suited to be the navigator, and some other ones you could be the quartermaster. Business developer, there you go. I called you out and didn't even realize. So that is day one. That's what will be happening on a Monday. It's where you kind of get to meet everyone in the week. I guess you meet me and then Keita and the team and any kind of organizations we have involved in that week. And you're introduced to the brief. So what you guys are going to be working on, and then we'll usually end the session there, and it's up to you guys to kind of work together. And then we have the second day. So second or third day, it's usually like a group exercise. So this tends to be optional. You know, some people, we know you have other kind of commitments. It could be work, it could be socializing, it could be, I don't know if you're still studying throughout the summer. So this one's kind of just if you kind of want to add a little extra something in there. Again, we've made this as kind of simple as possible, so you don't really have to use your brain on a Monday. So we've called this the bad idea brainstorm. So the skill really, even though it seems quite random, it's mainly creative thinking. So how kind of creative can you be? So I guess my question to you guys is, if you're happily working at home and your internet cuts out, you have a very important virtual client meeting in just 5 minutes. So what do you do? But you have to kind of say like the worst ideas possible. In a way, you could argue that it's kind of like process of elimination. You just sort of name out the bad things and it kind of gets better. So for example, you wouldn't then run to your client's house. You wouldn't take a trip over there and run. You wouldn't just leave it completely, suggest that nothing happened, not inform, that's exactly it, not informing the client. You wouldn't just kind of leave it and hope that you knew what happened. What else? You wouldn't go and send a pigeon carrier. That would be painfully slow and resign. Just quit your job there and then. There's no point in continuing. It's like a lost cause from that point. So yeah, this is just creative thinking. Again, we kind of have more applicable activities during the actual Skills Bootcamp program. But yeah, this is an idea of where I think I quite like this approach, because say, for example, if you're writing an essay or dissertation or a presentation, if you do the worst one first, if you actively try and write the worst thing you possibly can, it can only get better from there. So that's the approach I quite like sometimes, because I'm quite a perfectionist personally, so I quite like to get the perfect thing done straight away. All right, I'll move on to the next one. So what we'd say is kind of day 3 or 4 is the mentor session. So there's me with no eyes apparently. So a question I have for you guys, if you fancy typing it out, how often do you guys talk to professionals in your industry? So I know some of you said you maybe knew which direction you were going after you graduate, and the reason that I wanted to ask this my colleague in Keita is because I realized that after I graduated, I hadn't actually had any contact points with people in my industry whilst I was studying, and then for somehow I was, then after I graduated, expected to maybe make them connections and get a job. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any kind of connections so far, feel free to pop in the chat, or if you haven't, and this is like maybe a sudden realization, then yeah, feel free to share that in the chat as well. But a mentor session, I'd say, so there's 2 ways that usually we kind of conduct these mentor sessions. So it depends on the week. Again, each week is different, and you'll find out before you start the week. But it could be a drop-in session. So we'll have a Zoom call where we've got someone like myself, or like I say, an industry professional. We'll be hosting the mentor session, and you guys can kind of come in as your team or your individuals and just ask the meetings. And it could be about the individual themselves, about what they're doing in their company and their role, or it could be about the brief. Usually, I guess it's about the brief. So if you're doing a presentation, project that week, you can talk about if they've ever done any presentations themselves, if they have any advice, and then the other way that we do it, so you have the drop-in sessions, and then we also have like we'll say a one-on-one, but like a one on a few. So because you'll be working in teams, what we do sometimes do is allocate mentors to teams. So the idea is that throughout that week you can message back and forth, and if you're all free, that's the difficult part, is choosing a time and day that you're all free. Jump on a video call, and you can have, if you're doing a presentation, you can maybe run it by them and see if they have any tips. So yeah, I think we really kind of practice the learning by doing methodology, but it's obviously nice to have this influence from external professionals, because they're already in the industry, and it allows you guys to kind of get an insight of how they're working and what views they have for your work as well, kind of if you're going in the right direction. And then yeah, that's essentially day 3 or 4. Again, it's completely up to you guys how the week would go. And then day 5. So this would be the Friday. Again, it might be a Thursday if it's like a bank holiday or something. I don't think there are any. But the submission. So depending on what you've been working on through that week, so there could be a couple of things. The submission could be a live or recorded if you absolutely can't make it. We try and recommend that you do live presentations just because well, I think mainly the Q&A, I think usually that's kind of left as an after part, kind of a second thought of a presentation, but we kind of encourage through the presentation week, for example, it's actually really valuable. Being able to think on the spot, because you can practice a presentation as many times as you want, you can get it perfect, and then you can kind of get sidetracked by someone throwing you a question that you haven't thought about. So being able to think of that and answer it on the spot is actually a very important skill. But yeah, live or recorded presentation. It could be a demo as well. So it could be a prototype or a design sprint, something that we've worked on one of the weeks. It could as well just be a document that we've asked for or a slide deck. So again, this depends on week to week. And you'll either submit it through the ProjectSet platform that we showed you, or we'll do a live presentation over Zoom. And the skills you'll be working on that week, obviously presentation skills, communication skills, so how you kind of put yourself across on camera. I guess design as well kind of comes into it, and how fancy your slides look. It's not usually a huge point, but is the information easy to read? Is it easy to understand? And like I was saying, the Q&A part as well. So how you're able to kind of conduct yourself through the question and answer session and being put on the spot. And then at the end of the week kind of comes the judge evaluation, general evaluation. So again, it depends on the submission. There'll be judges. So for example, on the screen here, we've kind of got some of the judges from the organizations we had with us last year. After the students had kind of done their session for a couple of minutes, the organizers would ask a few questions, kind of put the students to the test on what they'd learned throughout that week and see if they can answer the questions. And then what we actually did during that week as well, we ran the session again afterwards. So they were able to kind of re-present and see if they were able to kind of work on the feedback they received. So again, that was really useful. And some of you, again, might be kind of switched off at the fact of presenting, but yeah, again, we're trying to treat this as sort of like a space where you guys can practice, because you're all in the same boat. You're all maybe as awkward as I am, and being able to present, whether it's on Zoom or in person, is really important, I think, in this given world. And so being able to kind of work these skills now, I guess we're kind of making like a sandbox in a way. You kind of can go make it as long as you want during this session, and then when you're in the real world, hopefully you kind of got a running start compared to other people. But yeah, judge evaluation. We also have public voting as well. So maybe on a given week, we'll kind of allow it to go out there, and it means you guys can kind of give comments on each other's work, or family and friends as well, and team voting. So we might we've got sessions as well where you kind of put your work on, for example, you put your work out there, and we kind of like allow cross-team evaluation. You mark each other's, and it allows you to see what the others have been working on as well. And then to round it all off, which is probably my favorite part, social session. I don't know, it's something we kind of did to round off the week, just because you guys have, if you sign up and you're taking part, you're kind of putting your initiative in there. You're kind of allowing yourself to really, work on your skills that maybe other people aren't doing. It's kind of, if you're putting your step forward, hopefully kind of giving yourself that experience that other people aren't. And it's, basically to kind of fill a gap and maybe make yourself feel productive throughout the summer. And also, in fact, a comment that I heard from a student last year, which I hadn't thought about, is that they thought it was quite a nice wind down from university. So after kind of studying for like 4 years or however many years at university, and then just stopping and expecting to get a job, it's quite a nice way to kind of like slow down, as opposed to having an abrupt stop and just being able to sort of do a bit of learning, but not stop completely. But yeah, we tend to do a little social session at the end of the week. Granted, it's a Friday night, so it's obviously up to people who come along. I thought if you guys are still here, I don't know if you're kind of still here, or if you decided now's the time to kind of go and get a cup of tea, I'll do like a very, 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 very quick Pictionary. If I think of something random, in fact, and if you're there, I don't know if you're there, and feel free to message me like a random. There you go. See if you can message me private a random thing that comes to your head. Here we go. I'll see if I can draw it. And then if you guys are there in the chat, you can try and guess. Now, bear in mind, I've done like 5 years of art school, but apparently drawing with a mouse is not the same as drawing with a pencil. I can't even do that anyway. Nope. No. Oh dear. Okay. Right. You can start guessing as soon as you want, but as soon as you can see what I'm drawing, feel free to try and guess. Right. I'm trying to think of what era to go in here, to be honest. I'll go old school so you can kind of get the gist. Game Boy, not bad, but not quite. Oh, I should have done this in a much better way. That's not very good. I'm pretty sure there's a square tool on here as well. I've just completely ignored it. I've gone, there you go. It's I mean, I don't know who to give that to. It's a mobile phone, but I think someone put Nokia. That's kind of what I was going for there. Yeah, it was. There you go. Right. I'll leave that there. That was good. So that's kind of stuff we do. As again, it's completely random, but it means at the end of the week, after kind of putting in your hard work, essentially being able to do something, especially if it's a presentation session. And some of you guys, I don't know. I know some people kind of struggle with anxiety or something that's, it's quite difficult for them to get in front of other people, even if you can't see them, which I can't tell if that's scarier sometimes or easier. That art school degree was wasted. Thank you. That's the only time I've used it. What was I saying? Yeah. If you struggle with kind of presenting, as I know some of you do, then this is kind of a way just to wind down before the weekend, so you're not sort of like heightened still. So yeah, Pictionary, any other kind of mini games, whatever you want. And then once the week is over, basically we want you guys to show off what you've been up to. So there's no point, I was going to say there's no point in taking part in 6 weeks if then you do nothing with it. So you kind of want to show off that you've been sort of productive, that you've got all these new skills. Even if you think you already have the skills like teamwork, presentation, like you've most likely done presentations before. If you've gone through uni and you haven't done a presentation, I want to know what course you're doing and why I didn't do it. But if you've kind of got these skills, it just means that through here you've got evidence in a way. And these courses, I should add as well, are CPD accredited. So you get a little logo saying that, but it means they're valid. That's the word I'm looking for. So I've just got a little video, but what we have on ProjectSet, when you take part in these projects on our platform, you have what you call a profile. So just play this here. There's me, it's my profile. So it's a place essentially where you can add in your details, your academic details as well, a little description, a video CV if you want, but this is the important part, your portfolio. So there's a little, there you can see, a certificate that you get for the different kind of projects you take part in. So they don't have to exist just on here. The idea is that once you take part in a week, we'll create a certificate for you. It'll be kept here along with the deliverables. So you saw there as well, I think for this instance, let me see. Where is it? Here you go. Yeah. So you can, it's Canva for you. You get the point. You can see your deliverables on next to the certificate, so that if you, for example, share this link with an external body, whether it's organization, job, volunteering, whatever it is you're going for, they can just scroll down and they can see, each of your kind of portfolio items, what it was, the certificate you got for it. So, if it's another competition that you do on ProjectSet and there's maybe places, whether you're first, second or third, that kind of thing, and the actual content you worked on. So that gets fired in there. And then if you want, you can upload obviously your own stuff like dissertations, that kind of thing. But the cool part is that you can take it off. So if you want to then go to LinkedIn. So this is, for example, we had someone last year who somehow managed to stick through, well, a couple of people who somehow managed to stick through all 10 weeks. So again, like I say, we've narrowed it down to 6 weeks. But this is just like I couldn't fit it all in one page, to be honest, but there was 10 of them. So each kind of skill that this individual had worked on, and being able to kind of link there, you can see show credential, the certificate that they'd worked on as well. So again, LinkedIn is a bit more of a snapshot. You might already have connections of employers that you're maybe reaching out to, especially if you're using LinkedIn, for example, to apply to jobs. This is perfect. So being able to kind of show off how you've been productive, what you've been doing. And again, I think it's exactly kind of what, me and Kita were kind of looking for when we graduated. It's something that we're I think obviously we're biased because we created it, but I think we're excited that we kind of created something that students and recent graduates can get behind. I mean, it's just an option. If they don't have a job or an internship, or even if they do and they want to do this as well, they absolutely can. I will say, obviously, it's all online, so you only need, your laptop or internet connection, and then some of the Zoom sessions as well. You can tune in on whatever device you have, so there's no pressure there at all. I guess I've kind of fired through this quite quick, but we've got a couple of quotes here, and then if you want, we've got quite a bit of time for some Q&A as well. But so, like I say, last year was our first year, just because it was, when Nkito and I started. We had 650 students and recent graduates, so we had to cap it at some point because there's only a couple of us, and we couldn't quite keep on top of all the students, which is really nice. So that's why we're getting some employers involved. I think last year we had Investment 2020, Aviva Investors, LGT Vestra, and then, as you can see, I guess by the 99% endorsement and 95% promoter score, I think it was quite popular. People quite liked it. Not necessarily just the work, but I think just kind of being able to kind of come and see like the same faces. So it would mainly be me and Nkito that's kind of together. And then, 72 universities as well. So if you want to kind of get together, kind of meet students from universities, it's nice as well to see people in your same field but from other universities across the UK. So being able to kind of network with them. We have Arthur there from the University of Wollongong, so we get a few individuals just from other universities as well. But yeah, saying that she loved Skills Bootcamp, she learned so much, and it made her some more productive. And just a little shout out at the end of the prototyping week, which is my favorite one. And then Beatrice as well from the University of Cambridge, saying that she thinks it's a great opportunity, and then she's been struggling getting confidence to sign up for things because it had been such a challenging year, but completing this project really boosted my confidence and showed that she can communicate in a team and work on something which is a completely new skill to me. So that's kind of it. Even if you think you have these skills like team working, it means that now you can go and interview and say like, yes, like this is an actual recent example. You don't have to pull up being a prefect in high school kind of thing to talk about your leadership skills. You can talk about how you led a team in Skills Bootcamp. And then to, I guess, round it off to the present day, there's me again with my floating eyebrows. So I'm now the product manager at ProjectSet. I guess, like I say, after kind of doing these sort of experiences and kind of getting something on my CV and my LinkedIn, I'm able to kind of put myself forward, give myself a step up against the candidates going for jobs. And yeah, this is something we kind of want to extend to you guys. So there's no obligation to do so. I guess this is the kind of the end of me talking about Skills Bootcamp. But what I will say is, well, if you're intrigued, but you're not, want to take part in Skills Bootcamp, feel free just to sign up to the ProjectSet platform. We do have other activities as well, like hackathons and competitions, but it's completely up to yourself. I know you're busy, you've got things to do. What I will do here is leave this up. So a couple of bits and bobs, and I'll put some of these things in the chat as well. So if you would like to sign up to Skills Bootcamp as of this moment, what I'll do is I'll pop the link here. So that's the link if you would like to do so. Let me double check. You'll basically get taken to this page. I'm only showing you just because if you're on a computer, here are the weeks here. All you've got to do is pop in your email, name, the university that you're at, and then if you want to select more than 1 week, you have to click one and just hit control, and then it means you can select some others and then sign up, and that's you ready to go. How many hours does it take per week? That is a really good question. I should have touched upon that a bit more. I would say as a minimum, maybe like five hours, I would say. But that's just like a complete, I guess that's kind of incorporating taking part in all the sessions. But what we usually say is kind of like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So if you're trying to do it alongside kind of working and whatnot, which we know you will, if you kind of attend the sessions that you can, as long as you're working with the team, that's the main part, because that's the idea. Usually teams are between like 3 or 5 people. So the idea is it's not all on you to do all the work. And that's why it's nice. It's only 5 days. It's a relatively easy activity that we try and give you, something that's obviously a bit challenging, but not something that's going to cause you an insane amount of stress. It's supposed to be the summer. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. So I guess, yeah, I'd say roughly like, 5 hours, but Yeah, the more you put into it, that's great. But it's completely up to yourself. So don't worry too much about it. I would sign up. You can, if you want. What some people do is just sign up to maybe 1 week, and if they enjoy it, then they sign up to previous weeks as well. Sophia is asking how much does it cost? It does not. It's completely free to you. So again, there's no obligation for you to pay anything. You have to turn up and just meet people, really. That's it. We're looking forward to it. Oh, congratulations. That's quite nice. Thank you. Yeah, does anyone have any other questions? I know I kind of wrapped up a bit earlier. Where can you find today's recording on YouTube? That is probably not for me to answer. I will let Anne answer that one because I'm not sure. If you wish, or if you want to answer me afterwards.
Yeah, so thanks, Elliot. So today's recording will be available on YouTube. So when you go onto the YouTube channel, which is just all of our socials across all the platforms, are U of G Careers. And when you go onto U of G Careers on our YouTube channel, it'll be set up probably under a playlist as Graduate Advice Week. So we're going to be recording all the sessions, so you can go in and you can rewatch Elliot's fantastic information, or you can share it with your friends for everyone.
If you wish to do that, yeah. All right, only just a couple other things to say. If you sign up, you'll see anywho, we have a Discord. I don't know how many of you guys use Discord, but we have that as well. So again, if you're not wanting to dive into Skills Bootcamp, if you want to hop onto the Discord, it means that you'll see when we've got other bits coming up, even next year as well. I guess I'm not sure if all of you here are final year or recent graduates. I don't know if they're still studying, but you know what, even if you graduate this year, you can come along next year anyway, because like I say, we usually leave like a 2-year window, so no worries about that. If you don't have Discord, there's social media handles, so if you want to follow us in there, that's where you'll find out more about it. And then the last point as well, yeah, if you want to email me for whatever reason, I'm presuming there's more questions, you can go ahead and get in contact with me there, and I will leave my LinkedIn because why not? I'm presuming you're all here just because you're kind of into learning, and that's sort of, I don't know, what I'm into as well. And the idea is that, yeah, on the Discord, you'll see we've got a LinkedIn channel as well that other people are sharing their own LinkedIn users. So if you want to kind of connect with other people, everyone if you want, or just cherry pick people from your university or your industry, again, the opportunity is there. So it's completely up to yourself. Does anyone else have any questions at all? Is anyone thinking of signing up, or is it not for some people? It's okay if it's not. Nice. Oh, brilliant. Okay, that's good to hear. That's fine. I'm glad you'll see more of my face there. I think doing the first week and seeing where it goes, it's probably a good way of doing it. Perfect. And if you sign up and you're not able to make it, that's fine. I think what we usually do is, just for that reason, when we're closer to it, we'll send out kind of an RSVP. So just to basically say, are you able to kind of come along or not? Might be able to do 3-ish weeks. Absolutely. Yeah. There's no obligation to do all of them. So just however many you wish to do. And again, you might be like fantastic at presentation skills, so you can leave that one. But if you have no idea how design thinking works, then you can come along to that. So just it's basically so you can kind of cherry pick your own and curate your own CV. Awesome. Right. Well, if that's it, then I know I've kind of wrapped it up a bit earlier, but I'll hand it over to you if you want to, Anne.
Yes, thanks, Elliot. Well, thank you very much. That was brilliant. So much stuff on there, and where I think this project aligns really nicely with the career service and what we can continue to do with graduates after, students after you graduate and you become graduates and alumni of the university, is that we no longer can kind of take you through a journey so start to finish as this. It's much more that you drop in and you look at the vacancies, or you drop in and you come to an event, or you drop in and you come to a careers coaching appointment. This kind of thing where it's like a pathway from you start and you move through different things and it's all linked together. Once you leave us, that's the kind of thing we can't really do with you anymore, because obviously we need to prioritize our students that are registered. So I'm so glad that there's something there that we can refer our graduates onto, that if you've not had the chance to participate in this kind of career learning whilst you've been a student for various reasons, like you're maybe studying your degree and working, that now that when the thinking comes to this point, that there's something there that we know students can go off and do that's really robust. So thank you very much, Elliot. I really enjoyed hearing about the project. I'm really glad I invited you. And exactly as Elliot has said to everybody, if you've got any questions or if you're thinking about it and you're not quite sure, go and give it, try it for the first week. And if it's not for you, then that's fine. Like you're not signing your life away. Just give it a wee go. And if you like it and it's for you, and you might surprise yourself, you might be like, oh, well, I actually didn't think this before me, and actually I've learned loads from it. So thank you very much, and thank you to the students in the room for coming and participating and asking questions. As we've already said, this recording will be made available on YouTube. So if you have any friends that you think would benefit from listening to it or knowing about it, we will be getting everything up on our YouTube channel by the end of when I say the end of the week this week's Wednesday, isn't it? So hopefully by the start of next week or sometime around about next week, I would imagine would be realistic. Okay, well, if anybody, unless somebody has any more questions, we'll maybe just finish off there. So thank you again, Elliot.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. And hope to see some of you guys soon.
All the best. Bye.
See you.